Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's JD with Travel Stenics. I'm back with another video to expound upon my trip to Vietnam and do a little trip review. Today I'm just gonna go over the cost of living, rather the cost of visiting Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon as a first-time visitor. I want to go over a few major expenses, and I'll start off with accommodation. I chose to stay in a hotel for my first trip, but Airbnbs are also an option if it's your first time to Ho Chi Minh City. The main reason why I decided to go with a hotel for the first time was because of the check-in process. I arrived late at night and I did not want any hang-ups with the Airbnb check-in. And if you've ever stayed in an Airbnb, I used to have an Airbnb business, and check-ins can be a little bit tricky sometimes. Just communication sometimes gets messed up with the guest, or communication gets messed up sometimes with the host. So I just decided to stay in a hotel. So the hotel that I stayed at was called City View Hotel, which is located in the heart of District 1, which is pretty much the main area in Ho Chi Minh City. City View Hotel runs about $18 to $25 per night, which is a fair price for what you get. There's a complimentary breakfast buffet, which is pretty good. I didn't indulge in the breakfast. I don't really eat breakfast because I do intermittent fasting. But if you do eat breakfast, they have a lot of stuff: fresh fruit, eggs, toast, croissants, that type of stuff, bread, everything you can pretty much think of in terms of your typical breakfast foods. The room I stayed in had a queen-size bed, a fridge, a work desk, a closet, and a full bathroom. The internet was pretty shoddy, but it was still usable. I didn't even turn on the TV, so I didn't really know what was on the TV, but there was a TV on the wall. So, I mean, if you're a type of person who just kind of likes to have a TV on in the background, that's cool too. I'd probably say everything about the hotel was good, except for the internet. The internet was pretty bad. Another thing that I noticed, and I'm not sure if you're gonna get this pretty much at every place you're gonna be in Vietnam, is that there was some roaches. It's not, they were the huge type of roaches that kind of just like fly all over the place. And when you're in like tropical environments, sometimes you see the roaches from time to time. Even here in Hawaii, where I live, they have these type of roaches. Not necessarily in your apartment here, but you'll see them around the island. So I'm not gonna hold that too much against the hotel. I'm not gonna sit here and say it was infested with roaches, but I did have a big ass roach in my room at one point, which I had to get out of the room. Next, I want to talk about the food. Vietnam has some bomb-ass food, and I got a chance to try a gang of good food while I was out there. I would have to say my favorite food there was the banh mi's. They're super cheap and convenient, and I preferred to get mine with the fried egg instead of pork because I really don't eat pork. They range from about 50 cents to $1.25, and those go perfectly with a Vietnamese iced coffee. I like to get those black, or you can get them with the condensed milk. And I was getting those on the regular. Those run about 50 cents. And if you go to a super high-end cafe, you might pay a normal price, which is like $4. But you can get them for like 50 cents if you get them at a little convenient store, conveni, whatever. One of Vietnam's most famous foods is pho, which is basically light noodle soup with meat and some spices and flavorful veggies, basil, mint, lime, that type of stuff. You can get these at almost any restaurant you go to. It'll typically run you about $2 or $3. If you get them on the street, like street food wise, I think you pretty much get those for like 50 cents, maybe $1. Another popular dish in Vietnam is basically something super simple, which is grilled meat over rice with whatever type of flavor they have, which I actually didn't get on this trip because I'm not a big meat eater, but I was checking the menus at pretty much all the restaurants I was going to and all the little shops I was going to, and typically I saw grilled pork over rice, and they usually give you like cucumbers, some carrots, small veggies on the side, and that meal typically runs about $2 a plate from my observation. Probably one of the best restaurants that I tried while I was there was a seafood restaurant in the middle of town, where I got a grilled seafood plate along with another plate of fried chicken cartilage and a few beers. This was basically food for 2 people and a couple beers. I was being greedy. I just wanted to try a lot of stuff. So altogether, I had 2 entrees to myself and 2 beers, maybe even 3. And that totaled about $10, which wasn't bad. Along with Vietnamese food, there are also a lot of other food options like burger spots, Italian food, Korean, Japanese food. I actually went to a Korean fried chicken restaurant, which was really good. I got some Korean fried chicken. I think it was an 8-piece, some French fries, a salad along with a beer, and that all came out to about $8. The foreign restaurants are typically going to be a little bit more expensive, but still super cheap. I mean, $8 and you get all that. That's not a lot of money. And and that's prices are probably hiked up because I'm a foreigner, or it's in a foreigner district, I would say. On one of the last nights I was in Ho Chi Minh City, I went out with a group of 5 people, including some of the hotel staff, to a local seafood restaurant, and man, we went ham. We ordered about 15 dishes, maybe even like 20 dishes. Crab, shrimp, scallops, fried chicken cartilage. They ordered balut, which is it's like an almost hatched chicken egg. I didn't eat any of that, but we got noodles, fried rice, French bread, hella beers, and we even brought in our own whiskey. All the food you could pretty much even think of at a seafood restaurant. And we couldn't even finish it all. And the bill literally came out to $36 US. $36 for all that. Like, it was ridiculous. Super full, nice and buzzed from the beers and the whiskey that we brought to the restaurant. We went to Walking Street where we had a few more drinks. Drinks there ran about $2 for a beer, $4 for mixed drinks. I noticed if you buy a beer in the convenience stores, they're typically about 75 cents. And hard alcohol, I would say, ran for about $10 for a personal, depending on what type of alcohol. I was drinking Johnny Walker when I was out there, so I mean, I wasn't drinking a lot, but I got a couple bottles of that Johnny Walker, and it was about $10 each. And alcohol is fairly cheap in Vietnam, so if you're going to be drinking, you don't need to buy any duty free unless you prefer a certain type of alcohol you don't know if they're going to have in Ho Chi Minh City. Last but not least, let's talk about transportation. There's no light rail, there's no metro train system, which is kind of whack, but there are other options. The best being the Grab app. So when you go to Ho Chi Minh City, or if you go to Vietnam in general, download the Grab app, which is basically like their version of Uber. It's super cheap, super convenient. I would say a 5 to 10 minute ride costs about $2 or $3. Even a 20-minute ride to the airport was about $5. Maybe even a little bit less than $5. Taxis are fairly cheap too, but being a foreigner, you might get the foreign price and get ripped off. I actually prefer to take my time and walk most places because it's nice to walk around the city and actually be able to explore and see things. You might get a little lost, but that's part of the fun of traveling, getting lost in places, finding restaurants, finding parks, etc., etc. I got to see some of my surroundings and save a couple bucks. Overall, I was in Ho Chi Minh City for 1 week and probably spent about $300 on the necessities. That includes alcohol. So food, room, board, transportation, alcohol, I spent about $300. I spent a little bit more than $300 because I spent a little bit of money on extra stuff like shopping for souvenirs. I bought a $200 custom-made suit, which is a great deal for a tailor-made suit, and a few other expenses that definitely weren't necessary. But like I said in my previous video, you can make your trip really cheap or you can do it big. It's up to you. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope some of this information was helpful. So if you got any other questions, leave a comment. Once again, subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video and you want to see some more content. Like, comment, subscribe. And also, if you want to get in touch with me, you can find me on Instagram, and that's @TravelStenics with an X at the end. All right, y'all. Peace.